it's like looking in the mirror at your mind for the first time. Your mind as it exists in color and geometry and sound, like it's like a mental mirror. There's a syndrome that I'm labeling fourth state deficiency syndrome. And this state is precious. We need this state. And part of what I do with the NeuroVIZR is help people have this state in a controlled fashion without substances and get used to a rarely visited but highly normal healing state of a melting away of ego and gorgeous colors and visions and geometrics and all of this. We are made to do this. We are made for it.
We're starting today. We've got two experts, okay, on how to change the brain and heal the body. Now, we're joined, and a couple of weeks ago, we talked about FlexBeam. We're here with Arjen, and chief designer, brilliant guy. And I got to tell you, I got the FlexBeam, and I've been playing with it. And I've got one that we're starting to incorporate it in the office, and I'm sending it home with people to experiment. That's bitching. Okay. And with Garnet Dupuis, integrative healthcare specialist, creator of brain engagement device called the NeuroVIZR, inventor of a primary focus on consciousness and biophilic technologies, and international experienced in methodologies, design, and device inventions. Welcome, gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you very much, Doc. Good to see you.
Now, you're inventing a device that alters how the body adapts to the planet. Do you know the Wright brothers weren't aeronautical engineers? They were bicycle mechanics.
Well, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Thank you much.
Okay. Einstein was not a physicist. He was a mathematician, but he changed it. So when you're looking at innovations to industries, typically they don't come from within, they come from without.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I mean, so please, I just want to preface that. Share your background, if you would. How'd you invent the NeuroVIZR?
Make it short and sweet. I am born in Canada, a naturalized U.S. citizen. I've lived around the world in a number of countries. I've been living here in Thailand full-time for about 12, 13 years, part-time 18 years. And I have what's considered a broad education in integrative complementary healthcare, a number of different modalities, everything from biofeedback to clinical and classical homeopathy, oriental medicine, hydrotherapy, remedial exercise, body work. It kind of goes through the span of things. And I began working with conceptual designs and technology about 25 years ago, found out that I have a talent for it. I've been key to developing a number of different devices. I've lectured around the world. I've taught neuromodulation in major universities in West Coast, in the Marine Corps, naval hospitals, Navy SEAL, a bunch of stuff, Bulgaria, Hungary, Japan. So I've been around for a while, and it's a skill that's developed over time. My primary interest has always been and still is consciousness. I do my best in spiritual practice. I practiced under in India, a Hindu teacher, and then a Korean Taoist, and 25 of the past years under a Tibetan Dzogchen teacher. That's very important to me. It's a basis of things that I work with. And although it may not seem related, I also do wild animal conservation work here. I specialize in Southeast Asian apes and gibbons, and I've lived and slept with them for a long time. So even my best friends, and I'm proud to say, don't know how to describe what I do. In the past, I had two good friends ask me on the side, they said, listen, tell me the truth. And I said, what? They said, are you CIA? And the answer is no, I'm not CIA, but I've had a remarkable stream of fortunate opportunities, and they still exist today. So that's a little bit about me.
So
Yeah.
you're the new form of Wright brothers, developing different technologies to change the brain. The sensory brain engagement. Okay, sensory brain engagement. Is that different or like a conventional brain entertainment?
Some people know about brain entrainment, the frequency following response, where you put, usually like the older style, they have goggles, look like sunglasses almost, and headphones, and you have flashing lights and pulsing sounds. And the idea is that it affects the brain, and it does. The frequency following response. It means that, like you listen to music, your foot's going to tap. And this principle remains unchanged for 40, 50 years. I'm a little bit older. I've been, around for a while. I'm 72, so I had the good chance to be involved in this in its earlier days, its inception. And brain entrainment works. The issue is, what does it work to do? And it works to reinforce ordered states in the brain. Okay, that's really, really good. Incredible things have been happening in these past 40 years. Incredible things. The lead, of course, is the understanding of neuroplasticity, that your brain, my brain, anybody's brain, whatever the condition today, it can be better tomorrow. And the idea that even the adult brain is capable of synaptic change, neuron growth, neurogenesis, this is a really, really, really big deal. So understanding that the brain can change, understanding in these processes called sensory enrichment, understanding brain priming, now looking at psychedelic assisted therapies, that we have so much new information about how to interact with the brain. That's what I'm trying to harness. That's my interest. Doing brain entrainment is frankly super easy, and I was involved with it 40 years ago, and it really hasn't changed much. It's still good for what it does. It's not dynamically capable of really provoking neuroplastic change. I'm interested in consciousness. I want my mind, my brain, everybody's brain to be better, stay better, get better. And that's my goal. So I'm trying to find terms for it. Doc, words are great, and they're also tricky. So that's why I'm trying to call this thing, to differentiate it from brain entrainment. I call it brain engagement. That's neuroplastic theory, or brain enrichment, that's sensory enrichment theories. The idea is you can sometimes I say it's brain exercise disguised as entertainment. There are lots of ways of trying to characterize this thing. What it is exciting, it works. And when you experience it, you have some taste. So I don't know, that's kind of a little teaser about the concept that, stuff is changing. We're learning things now. And how can we work with biophysics and not just biochemistry? I mean, last time with Arjen, biophysics, listen, you're a DC. You guys saved my ass like 1,000 times in my life. That there are certain things that work. And when they work, you go chase the theory as to why they work. So right now I'm in the middle of the fact that it works and also clarifying the theory, trying to simplify it as well.
That's all we do. And one of the things that traditional chiropractic, which is a lot of chiropractors are moving away, is changing proprioception. You change the brain's awareness of the bodies in space. And this is everything from inflammatory bowel disease to anxiety and stress to blood pressure. That's all changing how the brain views that stimulus. And that's why, I was super excited. When Arjen came up with the flex beam, we're talking about literally affecting an area that causes an increased metabolic response, which I freaking love that. How did you guys meet? How did you get around?
I had worked in a prototype of a device on the same principle. Then I wanted to move it to an advanced form that was a wearable, more portable, more effective. I was looking around, living in Thailand. I went to China, couldn't find anybody. I went to Taiwan, I couldn't find anybody. And I'm back home. It's like, shit, I've got to find, an an engineering developing entity. And so I'm driving along, coming down the mountain, and this old buddy of mine gives me a call. He says, "Hey, do you know about these guys over XYZ?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, you know, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Okay, address, GPS, take me there." And I drove and I met Arjen and his partner, Christian, who now are partners in my new company. And lots of things happen, a whole bunch of things happen, but inevitably we're working together now. So it was damn good luck that I found them.
Luck, fate. Okay, you've got two
Whatever.
guys working towards the same thing, that you
Yeah.
need each other in the same part of Thailand.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you know,
Or synergistic.
Well, like, tell me, like, weird can be wonderful, right? So let me a little bit more on the neurology side, because you know, you're a body guy. That I think most, you know, the central nervous system grew bottom up. That we have, it's not like it grew from the neocortex down. It grew from the spine up through evolution. So we have a subcortical brain. We have an old brain, and then we have a new brain. Let's call it old brain, new brain. And now they all work together. We're so infatuated with top-down processes, we forget there's also a bottom-up process, and they work together. There are aspects of brain function, aspects of consciousness that we want to experience. We want to have that. As a matter of fact, every circadian cycle, we bump into it. We want to get to it. And that part of the brain is actually a pre-ego brain. And that's part of the trick, that softening that ID, that ego state. And this is a lot what's happening and also in the psychedelic movement right now. The therapeutic aspect is working to communicate with the body, but not through the rational aspect, not through thought, a way of knowing without thinking, that somatic self, you know, that it's more perceptual and not so conceptual. And like, this is, you know, you're a DC. I mean, this, you know, that communicating at a more primitive level is basically where most of the healing happens. And that's what I do with light and sound, is I craft these sessions, these compositions in such a way that it communicates with that older brain, that pre-ego brain. And that's also the domain of deep conscious relaxation. So I believe an awful lot, and I know you do. I mean, I don't even know you, but I know you do, that the body is basically self-regulating, self-organizing, self-healing, and that if we can help it, it's going to work. Much of what we need for self-healing and self-organization happens at that pre-ego, deeper level of consciousness. And getting a person there in a lucid state is almost magical, the benefits and the effects.
Now I've got one clinic in California, America, and one clinic in California, Mexico.
All right.
Opioid addicts, addictions to everything, anxiety and stress. We've got a clinic in Mexico that we work with that does psilocybin, ayahuasca, 5-MeO-DMT, the frog venom. And it's wild because these are short burst. Microdosing is popular, and I know that's one of the questions that you worked on. What is the visor, the NeuroVIZR? Do? Does it has a similar effect as microdosing, or how does that?
Okay. I think to make it, because we have to be a little bit quicker. This is like sit around all day kind of talk, you know, to really. But okay, there is this word called psychedelic, and most people, when they hear the word, think of it as a noun, that it's a compound, a psychedelic. But psychedelic is also an adjective, right? Psychedelic art is, you don't eat the art, right? That there's something about the art that relates to this mind expansion state. So that's the first thing, is that there are ways of mind manifesting. There are ways of the entheogenic, it's natural. In our circadian cycle, twice a day, most of us don't even know it. We go through that hypnagogic and hypnopompic state as you go from sleep, wake to sleep, and then sleep to wake. That we, if you want to use the word, we trip naturally. And this characteristic, it's usually called non-ordinary states of consciousness, or it's called altered states of consciousness. This makes it sound like for the mind to be lucid and to have visions, to soften the boundaries of ego, to work symbolically and creatively, that this is natural for us. And because it's uncommon doesn't mean it's abnormal. That's very important. Just because it's uncommon doesn't make it abnormal. That it's a normal state. Our brain has the capacity, with or without compounds, our brain has the capacity to do that. It's a healing state. In the tantric literature, it's called the fourth state. It's the fourth state. And I have a proposal that we suffer a fourth state deficiency. I think there's a syndrome that I'm labeling fourth state deficiency syndrome.
I like that.
That we don't spend enough time. The main reason, well, one is, we'll get to the lucid microdosing. It's a big deal. Our society does not reward visionary experience. It rewards rational, metric-based, scientific, logical processes. If you do that, that's rewarded. If you talk about these highly symbolic, lucid states where you have deep intuition, where creativity just bursts out and it's hard to explain, but now you know how to do, when you're holding a head and like you want to get that C3 move, part of it is at a super sensory primitive level of proprioception, right? I mean, you're perceiving, you're not thinking that thing, man, you're feeling it. And this state is precious. We need this state. And part of what I do with the NeuroVIZR is help people have this state in a controlled fashion without substances, and get used to a rarely visited but highly normal healing state of a melting away of ego and gorgeous colors and visions and geometrics and all of this. We are made to do this. We are made for it.
Garnet, this is exactly what I try and teach the doctors. Okay. When you're working on a people, the intention of the doctor has an effect on the body. So it's present time consciousness.
Yeah.
And I try and teach the patients to listen to the doctor within. You
Yes.
might not need a supplement every day. You might not need to do this.
Absolutely.
Listen to the body, listen to the doctor within, listen and feel how that body is responding to your touch and what energy are coming off.
Yeah.
But to make that feeling, like you call it fourth state of consciousness.
Fourth state, that's right.
To make that tangible. And you can, when you get, because I've been doing it for probably 20, 22 years, I was introduced to it and start to get more and more in tune that the body's more energy than matter.
Yeah,
this is brilliant. So this NeuroVIZR has a similar effect, and I mean the 15-minute executive DMT trip. Okay, if people don't know what 5-MeO DMT is, it's frog venom that has a very short experience. Usually it's 15 minutes to half hour max.
That's right.
And then when you come down from it, you're not addicted. It's not like a cocaine addiction. But there's lights, sounds, everything.
Yeah. And the DMT does not cause this. The DMT exposes this. There's a difference. Because these states are common throughout history and throughout mankind, mostly in indigenous or traditional cultures. Why? Because we're so stupid that we fry our eggs every day until we have to fall asleep. We're not in this kind of normal access to these states. What are the four states? In case, because I said the first, this is like classic: waking and sleeping. Those are two. Within sleeping, there are sleeping dreams. However, within waking, there are waking dreams. And to call them dreams might be a little bit funny, but the thing that is the major problem, why we don't know this, other than the fact that we're not taught, it's not reinforced, even though it naturally occurs every circadian cycle. Every circadian cycle in the hypnagogic and hypnopompic stage, we have this access point. Okay, why don't we dwell in it? Because the advice is to dwell in it. In the tantric, like 10th century literature, they talk about you have to have, why? Because we have lost, fundamentally, I say we in a grand sense, we have lost the ability to experience deep conscious relaxation.
Absolutely.
We don't know how to do it.
To teach the average Joe to get in that meditative state and to get to that O state, to where your immune system, your parasympathetic can take over, is so challenging in our oversensitized world. I mean, we get constant sensory input all the time. How does your device, and what's it look like? I mean, what does it do?
Looks like that.
Okay, so, well, it's attractive. It's good looking.
Okay, now, hang on.
Now,
so
what does it do? Does it use light and sound?
Yes. Yeah, I do I'll call it composition. I do all the brain signaling on the sound end first, on a certain vector, a certain direction, a certain purpose. Okay, it's not that mysterious, well, maybe technically it is, but if you're a musician and you want to write a happy song, then there's, that's your vector, that's your intention, and you will choose rhythms and chords and notes and so on that have a probability of feeling happy when somebody listens to it. Right. So in brain neurology now, there's enough information that we can have a propositional template of what kinds of signaling tend to create what kind of state. So each session has a kind of a vector or a theme or a goal, what I can call a probability state. Then when I have it all sound crafted, then I go into the entirely original software that I designed, that a programmer made, with the device that Arjen is the chief engineer that put it together. Thank you, Arjen. That I then do what I'll call the light choreography to it. That I work to create an experience that has a lot of elements in. This is all new stuff, Doc. I mean, I have to say this is real new. I was going to say new shit, but I shouldn't say new shit. Right? This is new. This is new stuff, right?
They say people that curse are actually very confident in what they're saying.
Well, then I'm holding back my confidence in that case. Okay. So, but the idea is that, we have to learn. Okay, let me put it in this framework, maybe as a kind of idea. Sensory enrichment processes they started off in the 50s. Hab is actually Canadian, and now they're used in autism. They're used in dementia. The idea is that when brains have a rich, elaborate sensory experience, neuroplasticity is triggered and engaged. Like the brain loves novelty. Healthy brains love fun. So when you make a sensory enrichment method, because I work on principles, right? It's like, I'm a smart guy, but I'm not making this stuff up. I'm interpreting it from existing research. So, I mean, this stuff is there. 5 things. If you want to create neuroplastic excitement in the brain, first thing is take 2 of the senses and combine them, like touch and smell, right? Or in my case, light and sound. That's the first thing. Put them together. The second thing is put them together in such a way that it's novel, it's unusual. It's not something that you normally experience in your environment. Like, wow, right? That's the second thing, the novelty, unusual attractiveness. So first, combine 2 senses. Second, make them novel and interesting. Number 3, do it in such a way that you take distractions away. so that the person can have that experience without distractions. So the third thing is remove distractions. The fourth thing is let them do it of their own free will. Don't force them. The fifth thing is do it in such a way that it's really enjoyable, that they like it. If you do these 5 things, and that's precisely the design of the NeuroVIZR, precisely. Combining senses, having them novel and exciting, because it's like looking in the mirror at your mind for the first time. Your mind as it exists in color and geometry and sound, like it's like a mental mirror. The third thing is that you don't have distractions because your eyes are closed, you've got headphones or earbuds. The fourth thing, I mean, obviously, and no one's like chaining you to the wall and making you do it. You do it of your own accord, your own free will. And this is like amazingly, curiously entertaining. Is like, I love this stuff. Why do I love? Because it's you. That's why you love it. It's you.
Okay, now I've done brain mapping before, and this has been like 10, 15 years where you got to put gel in certain points.
The whole show. The whole
skull
show.
cap on. It's messy, it's greasy. But you do a measurement before, do a set of therapies, and then measure it afterwards. Now, what do you do any is it one type of therapy, or are there different versions? Different settings on?
The different settings. The NeuroVIZR is everybody's friend. Any technique that you do, because also it works with a very effective brain priming dynamic that, like, for example, I have some, I lived Malibu, Santa Monica 30 years, so we're probably like, we know the territory. I've got a medical team, a medical group of research people that are using it, and they also use neurofeedback, for example. And when they use the visor first, and then the neurofeedback, they say the person shifts into the dynamic neurofeedback response 15 minutes faster in a half-hour session. So there's a brain priming process that's involved with it. And I can tell you many other anecdotal things. I've had people, use it and also do some brain mapping. And the befores and afters, on the charts are like, wow. The idea fundamentally is working towards adaptive change, positive adaptive change. And I'll tell you, it's like a freaky, it's a secret that I'll share with you. Of course, don't tell anybody, right? The secret. What I'm beginning to see, because I have different collections. And I want to talk a little bit about lucid microdosing, because this is a real big deal. But okay, remind me of that. That what I'm noticing from the feedback is that it does matter, but it seems like it doesn't matter as much as I thought. That a person can do almost any session, because they have choices of different sessions, right? Almost any session, and because I'll use this language, because they spend time in this fourth state, the waking dream, the lucid vision state, whatever you want to call it, because they spend time there, things work better after. They work better. So many techniques or technologies that are like frustrated aren't really getting the result. Suddenly they get the result. And my suspicion is that, okay, I'll say it this way. In self-regulation, 4 states, if the person doesn't sleep and you try to treat them and muscle tension and they're not rebound, if they just get some sleep, all of a sudden your shit works better, right? Why? Why? Because it's a fundamental circadian regulatory need. You got to get sleep, my dude. You got to get it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? We also have a fundamental regulatory need to spend time in a deeply relaxed, lucid visioning, waking dream state. Just having that allows the regulation to work better. Just like just having sleep works better. So I guess, the bell that I want to clang on is that we have this innate natural capacity, more than capacity. We have this innate need, self-regulation, as well as other techniques and technologies will all work better if you spend some time in this deep conscious relaxation, allowing this old primal brain to express itself full of imagery, full of insight, full of creativity, full of fun, full of sacredness. If we just spend some time, everything is better.
Okay, now one of the things that, and this is going to be maybe enlightening people that are watching, okay?
Sure.
When somebody comes in with lupus,
Yes.
or fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure, or inflammatory bowel disorder, every one of those conditions, and any other condition you could name, okay, I say, look, there's three things we have to fix: physical, chemical, and emotional stress. And we have techniques to address all three of those. To break that mindset. So when people are looking, and this is why I'm excited about the brain, retrainment, okay, where you're getting in that state, it's to help your physiology, to help your adaptation to the environment. Okay, so if it sounds like, man, this thing will fix this and this, it's like Tylenol, should be sold out of the back of a covered wagon. This is good for menstrual cycles, headaches. It's good for everything. It's ridiculous. But your device affecting the brain, because the brain is responding correctly based on the environment. Nobody has high blood pressure. Their body is responding correctly based on the stimulus.
Yes.
So your device changes that stimulus, changes the brain's response to that.
That's my point of view. Yes.
God, that's cool. That is so cool.
Yeah. Well, analogy. I like analogies, right? Let's imagine a person, maybe they're vegan or whatever. That's not the point. But let's say they have a B12 deficiency, right? And they don't feel well. And all the things that they can feel like, right? And no matter what you do, no matter what they do, I try to exercise, I'm getting better. It's like, what's wrong with me? And they get a vitamin B12 shot. And all of a sudden, so many things that were not working well start to work well. Why? Because there's a fundamental deficiency. The body mind needs certain experiences or nutrients, whatever you want to call them. There are certain needs. You have to have clear waking states. You have to have sleeping dreams for memory consolidation and emotional resolution. You have to have deep sleep. Or else, you can make any animal sick. You can make any human sick if you deprive them of those things. If they also are deficient in fourth state lucid visions, they will not be well. And techniques won't work as well as they should. Something is missing.
Yes. Oh my God.
Something is missing.
Okay, I'm supposed to be in Thailand within like 3 months or so. I'm trying to, arrange a bunch of stuff. We got to hook up. You were right. This is a conversation meant to take place at some spiritual area where we talk about just dynamic stuff.
Yep. Well, come on, man. Just tell us when to pick you up at the airport. It's no more. It's no more complicated than that. Day and time. That's it.
Oh God, I love you guys. Arjen, okay, you made this, okay, and you've been patiently sitting there.
Yeah.
Okay. And your flex beam is outrageously freaking fun. I've been experimenting around with it. I bought one for our house and one for our clinic. So I'm going to be giving it to people with certain instructions. You've got, and for people that don't know about it, it's got 3 settings: superficial, medium, deep, and deep penetration. You get, the sessions last around 10 minutes, and you get about 4 to 6 sessions per charge. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
It's wonderful.
What's the technical aspect of the NeuroVIZR? What is it? Like, does it have a negative electromagnetic field if people are freaked out about that?
No. No,
Do
okay.
you-
So basically, what makes it special, I think, is the spectrum of light that we're using and how we have managed to attune that to what the brain wants. And that's a process that took quite a long time to find the right light sources, to find the right light angles, the right brightness, the right way of switching it, the right aspect ratio. And there's a whole bunch of things that we had to figure out whilst developing this device. What is the right distance from the eyes? And basically just fine tuning it. We have spent just on the technical development of this device around 4 years, so a pretty long time, and learned an incredible amount of things during that time. And yeah, it's been a fantastic ride so far, and I think we've only just broken the water now. We're going to go very far with this. I'm quite convinced, and yeah, for me as well, this has made a huge difference in my quality of life and my overall brain functioning. For me, what I like about it most, I think, is that I found a way through this device to have much more grip on how I feel. So it is, amongst things, also a bit of a mood modulator. So if you have some stressed out moments, or you feel, your mood isn't where you want it to be, then you can use this, and it allows you to, it gives you the chance for choice. So
now what
using
are
this
the
device, yeah.
what are the settings on it? Like how would you know? Because I'm going to be giving this to, say, parents of an autistic kid. I'm going to give it to somebody that's got severe anxiety or stress, somebody that's got severe physical damage, somebody with autonomic dysfunction, like bowel disorders or high cholesterol. Are there different settings for that? Like how?
Yeah, I'll jump there, because that's the thing that I do is I make the sessions for certain purposes.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So right now, they have names, and the names are pretty much like self-explanatory. Laser focus, or big piece, or sleep angel. The names, and there are short descriptions. It's pretty like, oh, okay. Like for the sleep thing, one of the things that we're noticing is that people are sleeping that don't sleep. I've had people that have not slept for 10 years. They're chronic insomniacs. They use sleeping pills, the whole thing. And I also, some people heavy PTSD, some in medical clinics that are using it, some like Marines, that are like shattered. And I can't make the bold claim, but I can tell you anecdotally that I know of one woman, I got today that she, one 11-minute session per day for 1 week. And she was even agoraphobic, everything, PTSD, like total out of, and she's sleeping. And this is one of the most common reports back. And I think, and that's the secret that it's not so secret if I'm talking about it, but that, there are sessions designed to enable sleep. Some, you could say, are more sleep training. They help you let go. You use it during the day, so you learn how to let go. And then there's another that is more sleep induction, right? So training and induction. But what we're seeing is that it's like, just like do what you feel like you want to do, like what your issue is. And because you're spending some time in the fourth state, lucid visions, self-regulation overall improves. I'm going to write, I write a lot, and I'm preparing to write yet another paper that I'm thinking to call it Sleep Disorders, a New Theory and Solution. I think more and more, many, not all, but many sleep disorders are occurring because of a fourth state deficiency syndrome.
Amen. Amen.
That's the reason. That's the reason.
I've got multiple courses on how to reset your circadian rhythms.
Bravo.
Because you can't, this is when your body regenerates. You cannot, you're never going to hear somebody with a chronic illness or disease like cancer or anything else go, man, I slept great last night?
No way. Absolutely.
Never.
And also their waking state lacks clarity as well. It's a foggy, their waking is like a foggy, dreamy, why? Well, you know it, you just said it, that if you don't have, in the circadian cycle, look at the cycle, that we call it hypnagogic, leading to sleep. That is a massive disservice, because we have an appetite for more than that. That it's a drowsy thing. Most people don't even know it. You don't even know it. We're so fatigued that we go right from being awake into sleep, where in the circadian, we should go from waking, we should go into lucid vision, fourth state, into lucid dreams, into sleep, lucid dreams, sleep, waking dreams, and awake. This is one of the things you note, is that people that spend more time in lucid vision, fourth state, automatically start to have more lucid dreams.
Fantastic.
Automatically.
And that's when tissue production occurs.
There you go.
REM state of sleep, man. I describe it like you're in a coma. Most of your body's energy is going for tissue production and repair. And then when you complete that 90-minute cycle, you become massively more aware, eyes open. So how to prepare for sleep? Oh my God. Okay, so what are the sessions last? Like, how long are they?
11 minutes. I do it neurologically. The average brain has peak attention for 10 to 12 minutes. Then you can have one refresh button and you can get another 10 to 12 minutes. And then all your local neurotransmitters are depleted. And then it starts to have a lag. That's why TED Talks are, 18, 20 minutes. That's why TM meditation is 20 minutes. That's why the Halo, which is, the motor neuron brain priming, you do it for 20 minutes. That's because you get a strong shot in around about 11 minutes, and you get another shot for about another 10 minutes. And after that, nobody watches TV anymore, but the half-hour TV program minus the commercials is 22 minutes.
And there's so many things that we do along the timing of the physiology. Like if you put human tissue under a force loading, after 18 minutes, that crosses this plastic elastic deformation curve. REM state of sleep lasts 90 minutes. Okay. We separate our adjustments by 90 minutes and have them do cross crawl exercises in between. So if anyone's listening, this is multiple areas of physiology have to do with the timing of a human body.
Yeah. The ultradian cycle within the circadian, there are all of these minor cycles, and the 18 minutes, I did a lot of myofascial stuff, right? And that it's crazy that brain frequencies also have harmonic with body frequency. And by the way, that's built into the NeuroVIZR. So there's macro signaling, meso signaling, and micro signaling. And the meso is when I do the harmonic body pulse rates that are harmonious to the fast brain flickering rates. That the body has all of these resonant frequencies, and they must be in harmonic coherence. So that's built in actually into the visor as well, plus other things.
Okay, so are your eyes closed or open during this?
Closed, baby, all closed.
Okay,
closed.
Okay, beautiful. How much does a unit cost?
I think right now our retail is $1,200 with the full load of sessions.
Okay, and do you load the sessions in there? Like, is there a monthly cost on it, or you just buy them?
No. Yeah, you right now you get it. You use a smartphone. There's an app, and you connect to the server, and you can go on Wi-Fi, or if you just want to put everything in your phone and not use Wi-Fi, you can do one download. It's up to you. And you use the phone. You plug in your headphones to the phone. So yeah, it's real simple.
Okay, and it's a battery operated or connected to the wall?
You plug it in and charge it. That's Arjen's world. So that you charge it like you charge your phone, and then you use it, and then you charge it again later.
How many sessions can you get out per charge?
Arjen, what's your thing on that?
Oh, a lot of sessions.
A lot. My experience
how
is
many sessions, but many hours of use.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh shit, the only thing is, turn it off after you use it or you'll drain your battery. But other than that, yeah, it's really, it has a lot, it's got a lot of life. And if you wanted to, you could even plug it in and use it as well. But,
Okay. Yeah.
the battery's real good. It's real good that way.
Yeah. So I'm going to be getting one for the clinic, one for home. I actually have, 5 people now living at my house, and I'm only married to one of them. So
I don't want to hear it, man. I don't want to hear it.
No, it's not Three's company. They're friends, and
okay. Yeah.
It's a wild place.
Hey, listen. I'll say next time, because I guess it's a time thing here.
Yeah.
That I would love, if you're willing and open, I'd love to talk quite a lot more about the applications in Lucid microdosing, because there's an entire set of sessions specifically designed around microdosing, Stamets protocol, Fadiman protocol. The whole thing is enabled with or without compounds. Also, I've begun very amazing discussions. I won't say names or the company, but it's leading North American psychedelic research-assisted therapy. And they say that an issue they have is there are people that are phobic, that they don't want to do psychedelics, they're afraid. Is there a way to help slowly introduce them to non-ordinary state without the psychedelics? The answer is yes, you can use the NeuroVIZR. Also, I don't know what you do down in Mexico, but typically like three major dose sessions. And then after, integrating the NeuroVIZR as a sustained take-home process to allow them to continue in the integration of the process. There's a lot going on, man, about this stuff. A lot.
This is something that we got to get into. So, Kat, I mean, she's going to set this up because we got opioid addiction and every other kind of addiction because the insane responses to control the world.
Okay. Yeah.
People will say, well, you're getting off of one drug onto another. No, that's not true.
No, it's not true at all.
When you're looking at ayahuasca, you're looking at psilocybin, 5-MeO. These things, the brain is looking for something. Yeah. Okay. And they're trying to get it through the opioids because you got opioid receptors or through some other chemical that has a toxic negative effect of the body. Yeah. You've got to change that brain, change that body, and these actually help people get off of addiction. Okay. If your device can induce a similar thing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well, rock and roll, because, I'll make a point again, maybe it's semantics, but the compounds don't cause the state. They enable a pre-existing, we didn't get into the entropic brain theory and Carhart, Harris, and those folks. The entropic brain model is the perfect model to understand this stuff. And we will talk again, like I've plotted, Campbell's The Hero's Journey. The hero's journey is the proto-myth because it follows the proto-brain. Right? Actually, every circadian cycle is the hero's journey. Actually.
I love that.
Yeah. So we got more to talk about, my friend. We've got
more to talk about. Please. I mean, we just, when I get my butt over there, okay, we got to hang out. Yeah. But Garnet, I cannot thank you enough more for being here. You guys are on cutting edge, and this is why usually innovations aren't going to come from the brain experts because they're just repeating and regurgitating what they've learned. You guys are on the edge, understanding how things work. I mean, this has been so much fun. I cannot thank you, gentlemen, enough, and we're for sure going to do this again.
We're hooked up, and Arjen and I see each other a lot, so that's not a problem. But private conversations, public sharing videos. Do you know Biohacker magazine by chance?
No.
Okay, it's the leading biohacker magazine in North America. It's called Biohacker magazine, not surprisingly. Last special edition, they published 2 of my articles all about this stuff. And in this, they just released one now, an article I wrote, "Is microdosing a special form of brain priming?" is the article. And the answer is yes, it is. And I can lay the whole logic out of why it is.
Okay, that is the best lead in to stay tuned.
Yep.
Yeah, because man, I'm not going to miss that one.
No. I tell you, I mean, I don't know if you love rock and roll, but this is rock and roll. You know, it's a real big deal.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. I know we ran over. God bless you. I love you. I am looking forward to the next session.
Okay. Adios,
Awesome.
buddy.
Thanks, gentlemen.